Hey guys, LevelCap here, and this week in gaming, Redditors teamed up to stick it to the man. Warzone had a particularly rough week. We have new info about Apex Legends Season 8 and much more. The Reddit versus hedge funds trade war over GameStop has raged nearly all week and shows no signs of slowing down. To break the situation down into simple terms, a group of Redditors on the Wall Street Bets subreddit started buying GameStop stock after receiving some investments to bolster their business and bringing on the former CEO of Chewy. As the stock slowly rose, it became apparent that a hedge fund on Wall Street was massively shorting GameStop shares. Basically, they were borrowing those shares, selling them, and expecting the shares to go down in price so they could rebuy them cheaper, return them, and profit on the difference. Once Reddit caught wind of this, they went all in, buying up as many GameStop shares as they could afford. This drove the price of the stock up to an astronomical peak of $469. Before all of this went down, GameStop stock was trading at under $20. The ensuing chaos has seen the hedge fund lose billions of dollars and drop their stocks, trading apps locking down the stocks, congressional lawmakers calling for investigations, and more. As of right now, GameStop's value is fluctuating but not holding steady above $300. It'll likely come crashing down as more and more retail investors sell their holdings, but for now, it seems like GameStop's power of the players slogan has a whole new meaning. As for why Wall Street Bets subreddit and other everyday people have gone all in on GameStop, there are many factors. Many view hedge funds and shorting as a predatory practice that takes advantage of struggling companies and often leads to their demise. Others view the GameStop situation as sticking it to the Wall Street investors who tanked our economy. And then of course many of them are just in it to make a quick buck. A single $20 share now is worth over $300, and it all happened in a matter of weeks. That's an insane short-term investment. Critics of the situation say everyday people are setting themselves up for a massive loss as the stock market will eventually plummet in value. Call of Duty Warzone is having a rough week. Players have discovered a new way of exploiting stims to survive indefinitely. This time around, it's not even a glitch. If you have enough money, you can just sit on a buy station, buy a bunch of ammo cases, and indefinitely replenish your stims. Considering how game-breaking this exploit is, it really makes you wonder why the developers haven't just removed stims entirely from the Battle Royale. Exploits like this have been discovered, patched, and rediscovered at least 4 times now. But things get even worse. The Rose skin for Rook, which was a Season 5 paid Battle Pass item, renders players practically invisible in the shadows. Its rise to prominence this week has led players to discover yet another skin that straight up makes you, well, invisible. The Forest Spirit skin for Grinch is a ghillie suit that turns invisible after a certain distance. YouTuber Scope's testing shows players that wear this skin disappear at 34 meters without ADSing. If you ADS, that distance is pushed out to 55 meters. With a 4x scope, it goes out to around 125 meters. So while there is sort of a counter to this issue, I don't think spending the entire match aimed in with a 4x scope is an ideal solution. Thanks to the way Warzone populates store items uniquely for all players, it seems like some people might be able to buy the skin while it doesn't appear on the store for others. This bug is present on both PC and console. A fix is sorely needed, as any sort of invisibility glitch just isn't acceptable in a game like Warzone. Unfortunately, there's been no word whatsoever from Raven Software, Infinity Ward, Treyarch, or Activision about the issue. What's even more worrying is the state of Warzone's anti-cheat. Numerous YouTubers, Twitch streamers, and players have taken to social media lately complaining about an epidemic of cheating ruining matches. Gator Cheats, one of the largest Warzone cheat distributors, recently got shut down thanks to a joint legal complaint filed by Riot and Bungie. But there are still dozens of cheat sites out there. It's gotten so bad that some players are alleging the game has no anti-cheat at all. And while that isn't really the case, it doesn't feel like it when every match has a handful of cheaters in it. Warzone is in very dire need of some serious attention. In more positive Call of Duty news, a new trailer for the upcoming Firebase Z map looks great. Cold War Zombies mode has been a highlight of the game's launch. The launch map, Die Machine, is great but small and lacks variety. The new map is set in Vietnam and looks like it has multiple areas and lots of variety between all of them. It also offers new weapons, boss type zombies, Easter eggs, story content, and much more. The Season 8 gameplay trailer for Apex Legends reveals the full extent of the changes coming to Kings Canyon. The gameplay trailer went live earlier this week, showcasing all the major changes coming to the game. As the week went on, more info trickled out. And finally, we got some more specific info about the new legend Fuse. His passive ability is called Grenadier. It lets him throw grenades farther and more accurately than the other legends. He can also stack one more grenade per inventory slot. His tactical, called the Knuckle Duster, is a cluster bomb that breaks up into small concussion mines. And finally, his ultimate is a Ring of Fire napalm strike that can be used to entrap enemies. To be honest, it sounds like Fuse is a legend ripped straight from the game's early day meta. Back then, you could carry an inventory stacked with grenades. Final circles often turned into nade spam bombing matches. Fuse could massively disrupt the balance of the game, but the same could be said for, well, any new addition or tweak. The Season 8 update launches on the 2nd for all platforms. It also sounds like Respawn will be talking about the game's Nintendo Switch port soon. Retail listings are pointing at a simultaneous rollout for Switch and the Season 8 update, but nothing has been officially confirmed yet. The game's director responded to a question about the Switch port on Twitter saying, "We'll have some news very soon." That's about all the official info we have to go on right now. Microsoft's Flight Sim is getting a UK World update in the 2nd week of February. The update was recently delayed by a few weeks to polish it up for launch, but the delay doesn't seem to be slowing down progress on the following World update. World Update 4 will overhaul France, and it's launching at the end of March. These updates are complete overhauls of key locations in the game and use updated data and manually generated assets to improve both the fidelity and accuracy of buildings, roads, and terrain. Each one has proven to be a substantial improvement from the game's AI-generated landmarks, which is no small feat considering how impressive the game is to begin with. A new report by Bloomberg paints a woefully chaotic picture of Amazon's attempts at making video games. It outlines a workplace dominated by bro culture, copycatting, inexperience, bizarre leadership decisions, and much more, including the fact that the person in charge of their gaming division has never actually made a game before. Their most recent release, Crucible, was a copy of Overwatch, and it did so poorly it was removed from sale shortly after launch and cancelled. The report makes it sound like Amazon have a long way to go before they have a real shot at putting out a successful title. Cyberpunk 2077's first big patch of the year introduced a game-breaking bug that halted progress on the game's main story. Thankfully, the developers were quick to issue a hotfix that resolves the problem. The game's next update is coming in a few weeks and should be a pretty substantial improvement to the overall experience. Before we get to this week's final story, a big shout out to everyone that's subscribed to this channel. 61% of our viewership are subscribers. If you guys are not already subscribed and watching this video, please consider hitting that sub button and turning on notifications. This way you don't miss out on any breaking news. NVIDIA's game streaming service GeForce Now is finally available in Chrome. Until now, you had to access the service via an app on desktop. A browser-based version is currently in beta that lets you sign in and play your games without having to install the app at all. This is a big deal because it potentially means you can game on any device that has a Chrome-based web browser. So mobile devices, Linux computers, and more might all finally be able to run GeForce Now titles without issue or needing to install additional software. And that wraps it up for this week in gaming. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.